Hello and welcome to the Pioneers of the Great Awakening. I'm your host, Epiphanio, and here in this podcast, we bring people from all walks of life that have awakened to their purpose through their journey, their hero's journey. They found that something, that gift in the darkness, and that helped them move through to the other side. And now they're helping people. They're being of service for the world with this gift they found in the darkness. And today we have this amazing woman, Peri. She's a Jinkies Voyager and a Jinkies Guide. And she's been a student of A Course in Miracles for more than 17 years. Her coaching practice is based on the Course principles. And since 2018, she's been the host of the Happy-Cool-Love podcast, where she shares her experience with the principles of A Course in Miracles, translating its spiritual principles into everyday life. Her project, 365 Days of Miracles, invites people to travel through the 365 lessons of the workbook of the Course of Miracles. Welcome to the podcast, Pelu. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for letting me be here.
So tell us something interesting about yourself that most people don't know.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because, yes, I'm quite oblivious to what people know about me and what they don't, because I have this line too, and I find that's kind of makes me oblivious to things. But one thing I feel they might not know about me is that I was a wedding singer. Not just, a passion project. I was part of this choir. And then I kind of, I don't know, one thing led to the other. And so they asked us to sing at weddings. And I used to even sing gospel. And that was so I wouldn't have imagined it because looking at my background, singing gospel, being a wedding singer. Anyway, it was really fun. I had so much fun. Weddings are like the best. I mean, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy for you being there. And, you do something that makes you happy singing and you get paid for it. It was really nice. It was just something on the side, nothing big, but I guess that's one thing that people don't know about me.
Nice. So for how long you did that?
Not long, maybe 2 years or something like that. It was just a hobby.
How do weddings in Germany? Like, did they sing the songs in English or are they in German? Do you have like German songs? Like,
Yeah, both.
yeah.
Yeah, both. The usual stuff. I mean, I don't even know why they want to hear hallelujah at a wedding, but they do. Like we used to sing hallelujah and some gospel stuff and all these, nice love songs like, marry you from, I don't know what his name was, Bruno Mars. You
Bruno
know,
Mars. Okay, so that's relatively recent. Okay. Nice. So have you sang in bands and other places? Like,
no, just in that.
no?
I mean, I used to sing in school, and then I don't know what happened. I ended up in this choir, and we were like 6 girls or something like that. And it was really beautiful because it's so uniting. It's such a,
I know.
it's just you can't describe it. It's like being 6 people, but you're one because you do the same thing, you feel the same things. You just, and you're one voice, one heart, one everything, one mind. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful because it's frequency manifested through the voice and then aligned through harmonies. And so you're creating chords with everybody's voices and the octaves and the highs on it. So it's one thing. And literally, the power of the voice, you are broadcasting frequency. That is
Mm.
why music is so powerful. And music is one of the greatest gifts we have in this reality. That I believe, in my case, because I was a singer too, I've had bands and stuff. So I understand what you're saying.
There's music that must be downloaded because it's not from this world. And that's what, you feel it. It just goes straight to the heart and it just moves you to tears. Those moments with music, love them.
I know. It's a power music is amazing. So, what was your fork in the road, the moment in your life that your life split and led you to this journey into the Course of Miracles and Jinkies and being, a service for the world and for, high frequency? How did you end up on this timeline?
I think it started quite early. I mean, when I was young and little, I was always angry. I was always angry because I felt so much lovelessness in the world. I was like, this is making me angry. Why are we so, why is it so cold and loveless, and why we're so greedy? And I was an angry child to begin with. So something was wrong with me from the very beginning. But then, I just forgot about it. Try to fit in, try to fit in. And that was it. I tried to fit in, and it always, ended up with me trying and never succeeding. And I had this little list of stuff that I wanted to achieve because, I was trying to be happy. And where I wasn't happy. So I had these ideas from my parents, from society, from my teachers. I needed to do certain things so I would be happy, right? Get my high school degree. Okay. Go to university. Perfect. Get a great job. Okay. And then find a nice flat and a nice, partner. And then you're going to be happy. This doesn't even sound, actually, it doesn't really sound out there, it's like realistic stuff. So I did my high school degree. I went to university. I got this nice job, whatever. I did all of the things on this list. And I looked at my life and I was miserable. It's like, this is like something is not working out here. And I felt super miserable. I was in this job and I was totally the wrong person at the wrong time, in the wrong job, in the wrong office with the wrong people. Everything felt wrong. And I saw it like I had symptoms in my body. I felt really unhealthy and I felt really depressed. And at one point, my contract was running out and he said, we can't, extend it. So we have to let you go. And I was like, okay. Back then I was like, okay, this is like the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But at the same time, I wasn't happy. And my list, I checked, everything was accomplished, but I was still unhappy. I was like, okay, I have two choices now. I can go on pretending nothing has happened and I am okay with all this that life has offered me so far and what I thought would make me happy, or I can try and see whether there is another way. And that was really the two things I had in mind. I was like, either you just go on being miserable or you still have hope that there is another way. And I feel like once I formulated this sentence within my mind that maybe there is another way, a door opened up, something opened up. I left home. I was in Germany. I went to Spain. I lived in Barcelona for more than a year. And it was so life-changing for me because I said, I'm going to look for another way. Either I'm going to, find another way or I'm going to die finding. I don't care. I need to find another way, So I went to Barcelona and I don't know why and how, maybe because I was in a different location. I said this kind of prayer, like there has to be another way. It was like a prayer for me. Has to be another way. The first thing that I stumbled across back then was like Oprah and Super Soul Sundays and all these conversations that she had with, Eckhart Tolle and Marianne Williamson and Deepak Chopra. And I was like, oh my God, there is another world. There are people that are actually, showing me the way to why my life hasn't worked, because I was so focused on the outside, all these outside, things that I had to accomplish for me to be happy. And my inside was like a total, blur to me. I didn't even know I had an inside, and then they kind of pointed the way. And a lot of people back then talked about A Course in Miracles. And I was like, oh my God, why are they all talking about A Course in Miracles? But they seem to be peaceful and happy. Maybe there's something with that course that's for me. So back then, that's where it all started. That was like 17 years ago or something like that. And ever since that, well, I'm trying to live up to the principles of A Course in Miracles. And basically the principle is teach love because that's what you are. That's like, A Course in Miracles in a nutshell. But, theory and practice, sometimes it's really easy and sometimes it's still like I trip and I fall still after 17 years. And I find that's okay. That's life.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's like you already knew when you were a child that it's not that there was something wrong with you, is that you knew the truth and you were seeing the world and going like, what the fuck am I doing here? It's like these people are crazy. It's like, oh, there, get me out, Scotty. Get me out of here. But then It's like you start kind of, and this happens to a lot of us, you start turning towards yourself and say, something's wrong with me because I'm supposed to fit here. You try to fit, and then everything goes backwards because you're not here to fit. And I don't know if you're familiar with MBTI, the work of Isabel Mayers, right? So these are the NFs people, the kind of the idealists, right? And diplomats. And this is literally us, that we're carrying a different frequency from another universe. And so we are not here to fit. And we will never fit. We're literally here download. We are the kind of like the channel to download the future. And so we are downloading the future for everybody by being and having the courage to step out and look at. And the moment you said it, I think that was the moment where I'm going to find it. I'm going to die finding it. I think that I've seen that on every one of us, that we come to that place where it's like, life sucks. There's got to be another way, or I'm out of here. And that is the moment that you manifest right there. Pretty amazing. And yeah, that's incredible. So tell us, Peri, what was your worst moment, your deepest, darkest moment where you like hit rock bottom, that it was like, my God, there is no exit?
I think there was always hope. I never gave up hope. Like, I know there's this beautiful sentence, where there is life, there is hope. There was always hope. But I think pretty much my darkest moment was when I kind of, had that to-do list, things to do that will make you happy. And, I checked every single one of them. I was so diligent. I was so,
I
I
know.
went to university. Everything, like, I had such great grades. I fit in. I did everything that I thought that I should do to be happy. And then I ended up miserable. I think that was my darkest moment. That was my darkest moment. Of course, I'm still tripping and falling, and I'm still learning, and I'm still like, oh my God, there's still trauma. I thought that was transformed, but wasn't. Okay, let's look at it again. But I think that was my darkest moment, because I really felt like, now it sounds really dramatic, and in hindsight, I know that was just a blessing, in disguise. But back then I was like, really, either there is another way, or I'm going to end this life. That's really how dark it was. So,
I know. It happened to me too. Yeah, I know. I had a moment like that too. So what was the lesson that you learned out of that darkness?
oh gosh, there's so many lessons that I learned, so many. But I think that I feel that something is watching over me, something listens to me, something is with me all the way, every step of the way. It doesn't matter whether I was in the deepest, darkest moments or in the highest of heights, there is something watching over us, and with patience and love, and so mercifully that we can't even comprehend how big and how beautiful that love is that's watching over us. The only, the only barrier that exists is us not believing that we're worthy of that love. That's one of the biggest lessons. Removing those barriers that we put in front of that love. That love's just there wanting to embrace us all the time, like 24/7, ready. And we're like, no, I'm not good enough. No, I'm not worthy and stuff like. And I really realized it didn't really matter where I was, that beauty, that love, that light was, it had my hand, was holding me all the time, carrying me through all that has ever happened to me. I was never not hurt, not guided. I was always like safe.
And it's incredible how it holds you through the hand, and it's absolutely, love is absolutely allowing. So it's allowing you. You're like, I'm gonna go there and put my finger in the electricity socket. Okay, you know. Okay, what did you learn about that? Oh well, don't put the finger in the electricity socket. That's like, things that we do here. But that love it's so embracing. I have a friend. I mean, you hear this all the time. People have this near death experience, but I actually have a friend that had it, and he told me. he says, you have no idea, man. I mean, he's like, he was a drug addict, alcoholic, and he was just, suicidal and stuff. And he's like, you have no idea, man. I mean, this is like, the love is beyond anything you've ever experienced. You're like, and he basically sent me back, said, you're not done yet there, but remember the love. And he said it's something like incredible. So, Peri, what keeps you up at night? What worries you? What troubles you?
I mean, right now, nothing, but that's not always that way. Sometimes stuff keeps me up at night, but right now, in this moment, I wouldn't say anything keeps me up because I don't know. The other day, I had this epiphany again, about us already being whole. So there is nothing to worry. And I already know it. The Course in Miracles says it. Richard Rudd says it. All the sources that go back to that one truth say the same thing. I mean, there is one truth and different ways to approach it, right? So we are already everything and we already have everything. There is nothing that we need. Maybe we want stuff, but not out of, desperateness or something. It's just, okay, it would be nice, but I'm already whole. And I don't know why, but that has stuck with me the past couple of weeks. So I'm not worried when I go to bed, but of course I could conjure up something to worry about. Of course I could. But right now I actually like this feeling. So I'm just going to stick to that. I'm already whole and everything's perfect, in truth with a capital T, right? But I mean, on a human level, there's a lot of stuff we could worry about. That's true.
So, what is your vision for humanity's future?
I mean, I guess it's not my vision. It's a vision that I feel has been the vision of humankind for a long, long time, to create heaven on earth. That's what I feel. I mean, that's our potential. That's what I feel we're capable of, to create, our truth. Yeah, that what we really are, the Christ nature within us, to use that to guide us through this human experience to create heaven on earth, to create that basically awareness of our oneness within this body. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, we will see how it feels when we are there, but I feel the vision for me is heaven on earth. Basically, that's why we're here. That's what I feel.
So, what are you doing right now to contribute to this vision?
Well, first and foremost, I try to work on myself. And we all do, I guess. Everyone that had this awakening moment knows that everything boils down to doing your inner work. I mean, we have to practice what we preach, right? So I'm working especially with the Course and of course with the Gene Keys and other sources, because I'm so inspired by so many things. But my baseline is A Course in Miracles. I do the lessons every day. I meditate on them. I contemplate them. And apart from that, I have my podcast where I actually share my experience with working through the principles of A Course in Miracles and how I translate them into everyday life. Because, the Course, I have no idea whether you actually looked into the Course, but the language is quite, it sounds incomprehensible, but you can comprehend it once you you dedicate some time to it and some patience. So I do that podcast where I share my experience with it, and then I coach people based on the principles of A Course in Miracles. I do Gene Keen's guidance, and but I think first and foremost, I try to practice what I preach. That's the most important thing for me. Like if I, tell everyone, yeah, the Course says, teach love because you're love. But, when I don't do it myself, where's my authenticity? So I have to practice what I preach.
When you speak, it's real. It's not just words, because that's the thing we get to experience in this reality. A lot of people just talk and you're like, there's a lot of talk everywhere, but where are the actions? Where's the truth? The truth has weight, it has presence, you can feel it. And I think that's when you meet people, you get to feel the truth. It's not just words. It's a completely different world. What do you think we can do to inspire unity among the different groups of the awakening movement?
I think, I mean, it's not my idea, right? I mean, I'm doing the course for so long. Basically, the course tells us that we have this human plane and there is a higher plane, a spiritual plane. And if we use that spiritual plane with the spiritual laws that, accompany it, you can basically use this human experience to see that we are already one. There is no separation. Yeah, of course, the body seems like the separate thing, and you are in this body, I'm in this body, we're separate, entities, but that's not the truth. If you call in those spiritual truths, you will see that we're all one, that there is no difference between you and me, and that we have the same goal. We all want to go back to that unity. And if I see that you want the same thing as I want on a higher level, I mean, that's the most uniting thing that I can think of. We have the same goal. Maybe you have forgotten, maybe I have forgotten, maybe then I can remind you, maybe you can remind me, so we can go back together to that, wholeness that we are. And if we forget about the form and see the light that's beyond that form, and know that that light is my realness and my inner truth, and that's the truth within you, I mean, why would I attack you? It would mean that I attack myself. And that's what we sometimes forget, that if I attack you, I just am attacking myself, because we are one. I mean, yes, not on this human plane, but in reality, in truth, we are one. If I do harm to you, I'm doing harm to myself. If I can't be happy for you, that means I haven't realized that if you do something beautiful, it all helps us to move back to unity. So it's always beautiful to see love expressed in other people, because that means we're going back home together as one. So we're all in the same boat. So what can be more uniting?
Recognition of higher spiritual laws. Absolutely. Yeah, I am in the same boat. On my podcast, I talk about, that there's only one thing going on here. It's so advanced that it appears to be separated, but what it really is, it's all of us. It's just these different points of perspective of God, that it's looking at itself from all these different angles. So you're looking at yourself from that angle, with that opinion, with that height, and then I'm looking at myself, but we're really looking at ourselves. And so when you really start remembering that love, then you're not looking at another person, like people don't exist, it's just you. And then that is so beautiful, what you say. Be happy for other people's joy, success, because they're literally your happiness, your success, and that kind of raises our frequency vibration. So it's like acting, instead of trying to getting there, it's kind of remembering that we're already there, and then kind of like, we're already there. I totally see that. That is incredibly beautiful. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Oh my God, there are so many quotes that I love. One quote is by Rumi, who says, God will be encountered in stillness, everything else is poor translation, something like that. You can only discover God in stillness, everything else is poor translation.
I love Rumi. Beautiful, beautiful, Peri. So tell us what you're doing about your Course of Miracles. How can people find you? Tell us about your coaching. Tell us about your gene keys and all of this stuff. How do you put everything together? Tell us about it.
Basically, I do coach people based on A Course in Miracles. I've been doing that for the past 8 years, I'd say. And I also have a group of people that I actually voyaging through the workbook of A Course in Miracles. We did it this year, and people really wanted to continue next year. So I'm doing it again, starting off January 1st. So everyone who speaks German is more than welcome to join us. I never stop being amazed at these lessons and how deep they go and how much truth they contain. And apart from that, I actually am a Gene Keys guide, as you said, and I help people work through their profiles. And that's pretty much it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we're going to put all the information in the page where you can find how you can contact Peri and all her social media. And it's been an honor to have you join us today for this podcast episode, Peri. What a beautiful soul, shining light you have to the world. This is what we are. We are this light of God, this light of creation, this heaven on earth manifested right now. Thank you so much for joining us, Peri. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Epiphanio.